Hard to believe, but this Bitcoin move is just the beginning. There are many factors that are incredibly bullish playing into the beginning of this bull cycle, but there's one specific reason why Bitcoin is doing what it's doing. That is what we're going to break down in this video. So before we go through all of these things, all of the different bullish data points that are happening right now, crypto news is blowing up right now. I want to actually show you this clip real briefly. This is from July 15th, 2024. Check it. We want to see Bitcoin straight to it, get to it and break above it. We have a target to the upside, like close to 90,000. Just do it. But rarely just do it in July. This is how long we've been tracking this. And look, everybody, it has done it. The target is hit. The target is hit. And now we step into the new era for Bitcoin from so many different perspectives, namely the beginning of the parabolic bull cycle. The trigger is set. Hit the subscribe, hit the like on the way in. We're going to dive into the Bitcoin charts, even on the daily, now that the target is hit, to discuss what next. But before we even do that, there's a ton of crypto news to go over. And I want to start this video. Naval over here on X said something that I think is very important. It's worth noting. What you're feeling isn't a temporary high. It's the relief from the crushing burden of the state, which was getting heavier by the day. And if you've been in crypto for a while now, you know exactly what he's talking about. And with the Trump administration win, we talk about the winds of change often kind of coming and going. The winds of change have just entered crypto in a way that has absolutely never been here before. Right now, crypto is taking over finance, breaking. Coinbase flips Venmo to become the number 4 iOS App Store finance app in the US. Look at Coinbase right here. And we're going to look at the Bitcoin versus silver news in just a minute, but want to go over a couple other things. That is to say, retail and even institutions. What's the status? So Zero Hedge over here, he put full-blown retail euphoria. That's what it feels like, right? Especially when you're looking at a Bitcoin zoomed in daily chart. Look, Bitcoin, as I'm doing this video, approaching $90,000, but he's saying, oh, wait a second. He's being sarcastic because if you go and you look at Bitcoin and you zoom out, and this is going back to 2004, so this is the history of Bitcoin. Look at this. I wouldn't say it's going parabolic just yet. And then I actually went and I put in there Bitcoin as a keyword. I put in crypto as a keyword, and you can just see right now. We're not going parabolic just yet. Retail, not even here. And when it comes to retail, institutions, not even here. This is Matt. He's over at Bitwise Invest. He's a CIO. Says, remember that the wave of institutional capital hasn't arrived yet. Let's continue. There's a ton going on. I'm trying to just cruise through it very briefly. Big news. All of these are big news points. Check this clip out.
Well, that is a sign that Trump won the election, and we think that there is a lot of big news coming. We had our market opportunities and risks meeting last week, and there's a lot of upside from this win.
A lot of upside from this win. A lot of opportunities from this win. Managing partner at an ultra-wealthy community for centimillionaires says Bitcoin could become the next strategic reserve asset. And we've seen Trump talking about this. Do you realize, and we're going to talk about the main reason why Bitcoin's doing what it's doing right now? The main reason. It's a supply shock. That's what's happening right now. Put aside even all of this news that we were talking about. The supply shock has been built into Bitcoin. It's a 4-year supply shock. And that's what's happening. And then we have this, everybody. Bitcoin passes silver in market cap. And if we go to this website, this is basically all of the assets ranked by market cap. Look at this, everybody. Here's gold, number 1, obviously. Zoom out, go down a little bit, and Bitcoin passes silver. Also passed Vanguard, total stock market ETF. Do you see this? This is what's happening. And this is just the beginning. Notice where gold is all the way up here. It looks like Bitcoin is going for gold. It really does. So everyone's focused on new people buying Bitcoin. That's very real. But an equal part of this rally is that people have stopped selling. Long-term owners are no longer willing to part with Bitcoin below 100,000, and short sellers don't want to step in front of a freight train. People stop selling, everybody. And I would say, if you go to a Bitcoin chart, we track this whole entire move on the daily, right? The consolidation going back to March 2024, people just got worn out. The sellers stopped selling. And I want to point out that was this consolidation on the weekly. But don't forget, we went through an entire bear market. There was some accumulation here, yes, but we went through an entire bear market and a whole like 8 to 9 months or so, whatever it is, of consolidation and more accumulation. People are not selling. This is the beginning of a parabolic bull cycle. That's what's happening right now. And I think it's very important to take note of where we are in the cycle and understand, truly understand, supply shock dynamics that are happening. Bitcoin businesses feel safe in the US in wake of Trump victory. That's such an amazing, I mean, the fact that the elections just happened at this part of a cycle, such an amazing trigger to the bull market. And the fundamentals that come with it are bullish beyond what we've ever seen in the crypto space. Bitcoin clears another record. Buy everything you can, analyst says. So you can see this. Don't fight this. Wrote analyst led by Gautam Chugani. Welcome to the crypto bull market. Buy everything you can. This is, and I want to say this. That's very clickbaity. That's very like, whoa, that looks like a top indicator. But that's why I want to revisit what Naval said. What you're feeling isn't a temporary high. It's a relief from crushing burden of the state, which was getting heavier by the day. There's something bigger happening right now, everybody. And so let's talk about this. Let's really talk about it. We're going to look at the price chart, but all of these things coming together at a moment where even if these things weren't happening, the supply shock is built in. I saw this really good post, and this is really foundational to the video that I'm recording right now. This guy, Jesse Myers over here on X, if you're wondering what's happening with Bitcoin, yes, the incoming Bitcoin-friendly administration has provided a recent catalyst. Just talked about it. But that's not the main story here. The main story here is that we are 6 plus months post-halving. And that means a supply shock has accumulated. There's not enough supply available at current prices to satisfy demand. Supply-demand price equilibrium must be restored. The only way to do that is for price to go higher, which will flywheel into mania and a bubble, but that's how this thing works. It sounds crazy to say there will be a reliable, predictable bubble every 4 years, but then there's never been an asset in the world where new supply creation is halved every 4 years. That's Bitcoin, everybody. A post-halving bubble is the result. It's what happened after 2020, 2016, and 2012 halvings. And now it's taking shape again. And I want to say it's taking shape again with fundamentals that we've never seen, with demand that we've never seen from institutions, from governments, everybody. Welcome to the post-2024 halving bull market. This thing goes much higher. And you can see you are here. And we've been tracking this pretty much this chart on our own charts, right? Just getting a sense of where we are post-halving, where we are in this cycle. If you're wondering, how does this thing actually repeat? How does this happen? This post, such a good post, very well written, short to the point, and defines exactly what we see happening right now. So Bitcoin right now, you can see on the weekly just making its way to that $80,000 to $90,000 area. I think it's time. And this feels very good to do this right now in this video. Upper trend line, delete. Lower trend line, delete. Let's get rid of the arrow. The target has hit. All of that consolidation has been it's done. That consolidation is done. We've hit our target to the upside. Now we look for structure. And now we track a much, much larger pattern. That is the inverse head and shoulders that you see on the screen, everybody. This pattern is probably the most exciting pattern that I've tracked on this YouTube channel. And I want to make a very important note. There's all this bullishness that we've just talked about very briefly. This neckline, we have a massive target range of 140 or I guess 130,000 up to around almost 300,000. That's the target range out of this inverse head and shoulders for this bull market. It's a wide range, but I have a measured move from the head, bottom of the head, to the neckline, and then also just a measured price move. That's where these two target points come from. And that range, I think, is just in play for a bull market high for Bitcoin. So what I want to mention, though, on the short term is this. And I'll go to a daily to kind of illustrate this because I know a lot of you are watching price action. Even just look at it right now. Look at this daily pressure to the upside, $89,000 approaching $90,000, everybody. What I want to point out is what we point out all the time in these patterns. You get breakouts to the upside and then you get throwbacks to the trend line. How often do we see it? We just saw it actually, even with this most previous large pattern, but not as large. This one, we saw the throwback, right? Before the continued uptrend. So I'm bringing that up because I just want to say, just be very mindful of massive dips. And if you want to get a sense of, well, how or when can it dip? We have one very large pattern, the inverse head and shoulder. This is just the right shoulder. We have one very large pattern that's giving us at least an area to watch for. So as Bitcoin is overextended right now from the 50-day moving average, now we're upwards 30+%, 34%, just anticipate throwbacks. And in this case, this is a multi-year pattern. We could get a large throwback, and I don't know when it would happen, but we could get a throwback to the neckline. So I don't know if it's going to happen. There's absolutely no guarantees, but we see these patterns setting up all the time. We could get a throwback to the mid 70s. That's like from where Bitcoin is right now, 77,000 around the neckline, 76,000. We're looking at like a $12,000 drop for Bitcoin if that were to happen. To give you some context, that would be a drop of, 12%. We've saw dips like that multiple times in the last cycle, even around this moment of last cycle. So be prepared for dips. Right now, Bitcoin's in price discovery. As on the daily chart, it is in price discovery. I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to enjoy every $1,000 it goes up until we get some consolidation and until we get some new structure here. I don't know what the structure will look like, but when we get into price discovery, we just speculate what it could look like. Maybe some type of symmetrical triangle, maybe a falling channel, maybe a rising channel, whatever. We just wait to see. So that's what I'm watching on Bitcoin price. But all this crypto news right now, everybody, insane. Supply shock that is happening right now is next level, something none of us have ever seen before. And I'm just here tracking it with y'all. So I appreciate you watching. Please hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Hit the notifications, get notified as we continue just to pump out content as we track these markets. And if you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button for me. It means a lot. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.